Hello, my name is Angel and I am the creator of the audio narrative Operation Discovery. Hope you enjoy. It's not every day you get a message that could change your life forever.
Hello. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to discover what era of U.S. history would you have liked to live in and find out how your life would be different. Every era of U.S. history has its memorable moments, from heroes of the American revolutionaries, the strength of women during World War II, to the bravery of civil rights activists. The United States has a fascinating history. Explore U.S. history content, reflect on yourself and your experiences, and let your imagination run wild.
Do I accept this challenge? Of course. So I set out on a trip of self-discovery, unlike any other. Was I curious what might happen? Yes. Scared? Nah. Prepared? Let's just say nothing could equip me for what was about to happen. At the bottom of the letter, a mission outline was provided, so I set out researching the different time periods throughout U.S. history. I went through the suggested resources on the original document, noting interesting and key facts that covered the American Revolution, early America, the Civil War era, Western expansion, the 1920s, World War II, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Vietnam War era. At this point, I decided to review the first section of questions and see if I could answer any of them. Question 1. What are some historical events, people, or places in U.S. history that resonate with you? The main events that resonated with me were the Roaring Twenties, Harlem Renaissance, and the American Revolution. I enjoyed learning about that era's change and the spunk of the people in it. The main person that resonated with me was Abigail Adams. Her determination was one of a kind, and I found some of her letters to John Adams to be simply inspiring. The main places that resonated with me were New York City, Harlem, speakeasies, and the Cotton Club. There is just something about them that tells me that they have so many wonderful, fun, and impactful stories that makes me want to create my own. Question 2. What do you currently value in life that you'd like to keep the same? Currently value music, friends, family, entertainment, and freedom of expression. Whenever I go, I would like to keep these values the same. Question 3. How might your status change based on how you identify, i.e. ethnicity, gender, etc.? As a lady, I would face restrictions pretty much any time period I went. Some highlights would be that I would have some civil liberties in the 1920s since women got the right to vote on August 18, 1920. I would still be living in a time where women met a lot of friction when they set out to accomplish something other than have kids and being a good wife, but I know I can achieve anything I set my mind to. Then during World War II, a lot more jobs would be open to me. Each time period was unique in its own way. The American Revolution was a beautiful time of philosophers, aromatic coffee houses and taverns, and an evolution of amazing ideas. Then we have the Civil War era with lots of bloodshed, but needed change occurred, followed by the California Gold Rush, Western expansion, and the Indian Wars. As we entered the 20th century, the Roaring Twenties take center stage with the lost generation of artists, writers, and intellectuals. Then World War II occurs, followed by activists like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks strengthened human civil rights. Then the Vietnam War came and went, but the use of freedom of expression stayed. Some other questions I asked myself were, what is a common theme I've seen in my learning, and what are some cause and effect relationships that have had a profound effect on history? For the first question, I honestly believe that rebellion is definitely in our blood. Throughout history, Americans proudly challenge norms, embrace individuality, and initiate change when they see something wrong. Americans can also be very resistant towards things that they aren't okay with. For the second question, I saw many cause and effect relationships, like Abigail's letters to John Adams, which stirred the hearts of Americans. The Battle of Gettysburg death tolls were enough to bring the end of the Civil War closer. Rosa Parks being arrested set off a chain reaction that led to the Montgomery bus boycott, that led to the desegregation of buses permanently. We can't forget that technology for World War I led to manufacturing and economic prosperity in the 1920s. Then we have how Tinker versus Des Moines increased the power of free speech under the First Amendment to cover symbolic speech. These are just a few examples, but I know for sure that there are so many more. After learning about each time period, I decided to dive deeper into the concentrations I wanted to most. Something kept drawing me back to the 1920s. The jazz music, new cars, the telephone, and radio seemed homey to me. Frankly, the Volstead Act of 1919 probably would not have stopped me from having giggle water if I wanted to. I simply love the style of the era. It feels like where I belong. So in conclusion, if I could live in any time period in America, it would have to be the 1920s. While I wouldn't have a smartphone, I would definitely have more records. Thank you, Khan Academy, for challenging me to do this. I have learned so much about U.S. history and myself. I never would have done this without you.